My name is Nancy. I'm the daughter of Harris, the boss of a gang organization, and because of that, I've had a lot of troubles growing up. I never told my husband that I was the daughter of a gang boss. Thanks to that, we've been married for 5 years without any issues, living a normal life with my salaryman husband. I have a younger brother, John. John is also in the gang, but just like me, he kept the fact that we come from a gang family a secret from his fiancée. On the day of John's wedding, I got a call from my husband.
Sorry. I can't make it to the wedding.
Jason, who had said he couldn't take time off work, was supposed to attend my brother's wedding separately from me. What do you mean, all of a sudden?
A last-minute business trip came up. It's urgent, so I have to leave right now.
I see. Could something like that really happen? But when he says it's an urgent business trip, there's nothing I can say. Something felt off, but I had no choice but to accept it. After hanging up, I went to my brother's waiting room and saw my family frowning. What's wrong?
Amy hasn't arrived yet.
Amy is John's fiancée, the bride. And she still hadn't shown up. She hasn't arrived? Have you contacted her?
That's the thing. I can't get in touch with her. I hope nothing's happened. I just hope it's not an accident.
John looked worried. Watching John, I remembered the phone call from my husband just moments ago. That feeling of something being off, that was the reason. Sorry, I need to step out for a bit. John was surprised, but he saw me off without saying anything. I ran out of the venue, jumped into my car, and drove straight back home. I rushed into the house and headed straight to my husband's study. It's a small study, but it's his private space, and everything in there belongs to him. I approached his desk and began searching through the drawers. As I expected, there was his notebook. My husband has a habit of writing everything down. For example, I use my phone's calendar, but he prefers to write short notes with a pen. He probably left it behind, thinking it was just his personal diary, never imagining that I knew where he kept it. Flipping through the pages, I saw that it was filled with his daily life, but a familiar woman's name appeared multiple times. Detailed accounts of the days he had gone on dates with her. Where they had eaten, what made her happy, and what she wanted. Notes about how he planned to give her a present next time they met, and how happy she had been when he gave it to her. And among all that, there were mocking remarks about me, as if laughing at how clueless I was about his affair. Things like, "What a fool, stupid woman, Nancy is like a housekeeper," all while he was making this woman happy. Anger welled up inside me, to the point where I felt like I was going to explode. That bastard, while I've been busy raising our child, he's been cheating? I see, that weird feeling earlier must have been a woman's intuition. So, where is he today? Earlier on the phone, my husband said he would be on a business trip for about a week. I can't imagine a long business trip being arranged so suddenly. Which means, the person he's with must be a woman. As I flipped through more pages, I found out that the woman had mentioned wanting to go to Hawaii. And about a month ago, he had started planning the trip. The destination is... As expected, it was Hawaii. Hawaii? I've never even been to Hawaii. Why is he going to Hawaii with his mistress? This is a joke. A man who can't even cherish his family doing whatever he pleases. There's no way I can forgive that. When we got married, he swore he would never cheat. He promised to always put family first, no matter what. Even when our child was born, he cried and thanked me for bringing our baby into the world. And this is how it ends? That bastard. Don't underestimate the daughter of a gang leader. No matter how angry I got at my husband in the past, I always held back to keep peace in the family. But not only did he disregard all my efforts, he ridiculed me, calling me a fool and an idiot behind my back. I'll never forgive this. Gripping the notebook tightly, filled with trembling rage, I grabbed my phone and tapped my husband's number. Soon, I heard his cheerful voice. Despite claiming to be on a business trip, he sounded suspiciously happy and excited. Where are you right now?
On my way to the business trip.
Oh, really? Enjoy your trip to Hawaii with Amy.
What?
I could hear him stammering in a panic, but I hung up the phone abruptly and rushed to the front door, jumping into my car. My destination was, of course, the wedding venue. I probably should have gone to the airport to catch him red-handed on his cheating vacation. But there was no way I could wander around a massive airport and find them on my own. Instead, I decided to ask the one person I could rely on the most. When I arrived at the venue, I burst into the groom's waiting room.
Welcome back, Nancy. Did you see Amy?
I didn't see her. Rather, there's no way I could have.
What do you mean?
I showed my brother and father the notebook I was holding. My father's eyes sharpened immediately. John, on the other hand, seemed too shocked to even consider the idea that his bride might be with another man. He couldn't hide his distress.
This is.
It seems that Jason and Amy were having an affair. They're probably at the airport right now, waiting for their flight to Hawaii.
How could this happen? Did you know about the two of them, Nancy?
Don't be ridiculous. If I'd known, I would have dealt with them a long time ago. I don't know how they ended up like this, but skipping out on the wedding for a secret vacation? I can't forgive them.
You're right.
Pull yourself together. You're just going to let them do whatever they want? You're the second in command of the Harris gang.
Ah, yeah.
What time is the flight?
I looked through the notebook again, and sure enough, even the departure time was neatly written down.
All right, I've got it. Leave this to me.
What are you planning to do?
I'm going to catch them. They've disrespected the Harris gang. I'm not letting this slide.
With that, my father called the gang office, ordering the men to head to the airport right away. After hanging up, he assumed the face of a gang leader, silently heading for the door. When I asked him what he was going to do, he responded,
I'm going to the airport. I've already told the men to go too. They'll catch them soon enough.
Then I'm coming with you. I won't let Jason get away with this. I left the kids with my mother and rushed out. The wedding venue must have been in an uproar, but there was no choice but to cancel the reception. As I was leaving, I glanced at my brother. He was covering his face with his hands. Of course, he must be more shocked than I am, being betrayed like this on his wedding day. I hope this doesn't traumatize him. With that thought, I followed after my father. When we arrived at the airport, a group of men in black had already gathered. They were wearing black suits, but had their jackets open, with dark sunglasses covering their eyes. It was clear from their appearance that they were gangsters. With such men running around the airport, the regular passengers must have been terrified.
All right, boys. It's my son-in-law and the second-in-command's bride. Find them and bring them here, no matter what.
At my father's command, the men sprinted off in all directions. My father and I also scanned the lobby, but with so many people, it was hard to spot them. Maybe they're already at the boarding gate. If that's the case, it might be impossible to catch them. That's what I thought, as an amateur. But the men in black were incredibly efficient. In no time, they returned with the two of them.
Oh! Father-in-law! Nancy, why?
Stuff them in the car and take them to the house.
My father growled in a low voice, and Jason's face contorted in fear as he tried to comprehend what was happening. They were shoved into the car without a word, sitting there quietly, unable to speak. However, when they realized they were being taken to my parents' house, they seemed to relax a bit. Not only was I there, but my brother, who should have been at the wedding reception, was there as well. Though they still didn't understand what was going on, they clearly didn't realize they were dealing with a gang.
Nancy! What the hell is going on? Who are these people?
John! Why are these people here? Who are they? And why are you dressed like that?
She was referring to the fact that John was dressed like a gangster. It's not surprising she was shocked, as he'd never shown her that side of himself before.
Amy, I never thought you'd go on a secret vacation with another man on our wedding day. I'm honestly shocked.
What? No! It's not like that. It's not a secret vacation.
Yeah, exactly. This has to be a misunderstanding. I was just at the airport for a business trip.
Oh, a business trip, huh? I looked through your entire notebook, but there wasn't any mention of a business trip. But I did find something about a fun trip to Hawaii with Amy. Was that just a fantasy? Jason.
My notebook. You went through my drawer? That's an invasion of privacy.
Don't talk to me about privacy. A sudden long business trip on the day of my brother's wedding? That's clearly suspicious. Especially when the bride doesn't show up either. How could I not think something's going on?
So you don't trust me?
You're the one doing things that can't be trusted.
John, what's happening? Why are you dressed like that? Why won't you smile at me?
Amy, I never intended to show you my true self. But after what you've done, I can't stay silent anymore.
What do you mean?
Our family is part of a gang.
A gang? What do you mean?
My father is the famous leader of the Harris gang, and my brother is his second in command.
No way. You never mentioned that before. Even when I visited your family, there was never any sign of a gang.
Of course, I wouldn't tell you. Ever since I was a child, as soon as people found out my family was in the gang, I was told not to play with other kids. Even if I made friends, they'd disappear eventually. I plan to keep it a secret from you forever.
So you lied to me this whole time?
Don't act like I deceived you when you two have been deceiving us all along.
That's...
All right, enough introductions. You two insulted the daughter and the second in command of the Harris gang. Don't think you'll get away with that.
Eep!
Amy clung to Jason, shrinking in fear. Jason, too, seemed to understand just how dangerous the situation had become, his face pale and twisted with terror.
So, why'd this happen? I don't need you to tell me it's because of your relationship, but I want to know how long this has been going on. Nancy and John deserve to hear the truth, don't they?
That's right. I want to know how long you two have been lying to us.
It's not my fault. I met Jason when I went to introduce John to the family. But I didn't feel anything for him. Jason pressured me, saying no one would find out.
Don't lie! You're the one who came on to me. I told you I had a wife and kids.
Are you seriously trying to make this my fault? That's not true at all. John is the only one in my heart. Everything Jason's saying is a lie.
Shut up. I don't care about that nonsense. So, it started when you came to meet the family for the wedding, huh?
Yes.
So, all those times you said you were working late or working weekends, you were just going on dates?
I'm sorry.
Unbelievable. I was here taking care of the kids all by myself.
I'm sorry. I knew it was wrong, but I just couldn't stop myself.
Did you really want to go to Hawaii with my brother-in-law so badly that you ditched the wedding?
No! Jason's the one who invited me to Hawaii.
That's not true! You said you wanted to go to Hawaii, and I scraped the money together to make it happen.
Both of them were desperately trying to shift the blame, each scrambling to save themselves from the situation. At that moment, I handed my father the notebook. Jason's face went even paler, and he yelled for me to stop, but one of my father's men held him down and punched him. Dad, everything's in there. From when they first got together to their plans to fly to Hawaii.
I see. So, everything they've been saying is a lie.
Watching them blame each other like this is pathetic. It makes me feel ashamed to call him my husband.
I never expected my son-in-law to be involved in something like this.
And Amy, skipping out on her own wedding day? That's a new low.
You're right. So, what do you want to do about Jason? And John, I'm sure you've got plans for Amy.
As the second in command, I can't let this slide. I think it's best if we make them take responsibility and end things.
Take responsibility? No, John. Don't say that. It was just a momentary lapse in judgment. We were about to get married.
Then why did you skip the wedding?
Because he asked me to go, and I couldn't say no.
Did he have something on you? Something you were afraid of?
No! It wasn't like that. Sometimes it's just hard to refuse, you know? But I swear, John, you're the only one I love. Please believe me, it's the truth.
As for me, divorce is the only option. How can I trust a man who does something like this and then lies, saying it was for work? I can't see any future with him, and it would be more peaceful to end things now.
Divorce. Nancy, please don't do this. It's too extreme.
Jason, now panicking, broke into a forced smile and began to ramble.
We have kids! Nancy! Divorce isn't something you just decide on like that. Like Amy said, it was just a mistake. We can fix things. I love you, and that's the truth. Please reconsider. Don't make the kids suffer by taking their father away.
With the mention of the kids, I couldn't argue. Can you really promise never to cheat again? If something like this happens again, I won't forgive you.
Of course. I promise. I'll never do this again. I'll never betray you again.
Both Jason and Amy begged for forgiveness, and in the end, I decided not to go through with the divorce. For now, I would give him one more chance. After that, my husband seemed to have truly changed. He was quiet and behaved himself. Although there were occasional late nights and business trips, the way he came back tired made it seem like he was genuinely focused on work. But that's just how it seemed. My instincts told me something was off. However, when I checked his notebook, there were no new entries since the last time. He didn't even carry his phone around. Outwardly, things looked calm, but my sixth sense whispered that it wasn't the whole truth. So, I decided to investigate. I hired a private detective to follow my husband and track his movements. It didn't take long to discover that, once again, he was secretly meeting with Amy. And where were they meeting? At the apartment where Amy lived with my brother. Not only that, but my husband was sneaking in whenever my brother wasn't home, visiting frequently during work hours. Upon learning this, I took the evidence to my father and brother. I needed them to see the truth.
Amy, that ungrateful woman. And Jason, pulling that kind of stunt? I'll make sure they understand the full weight of crossing the Harris clan.
My brother John was about to rush out the door, ready to take action, but I stopped him with a proposal. Wait. If we deal with them now, it'll just repeat itself in the future. Instead, take a look at this. I pointed to a specific part of the investigation report. There was something very interesting written there.
I see now. So, that's how it is.
Exactly. We can use this to bring them both down. Let's drag them into the depths of hell, Harris style. Both my father and brother grinned wickedly and nodded in agreement. The next day, we had some of the men from the group keep watch on the apartment, and sure enough, Jason showed up. Once we got the report, we listened to the wiretap and confirmed they were getting intimate in bed. That's when we burst into the bedroom, throwing the door open with force. They weren't expecting anyone to walk in, and there they were, in their birthday suits, looking utterly shocked and pathetic. You promised you wouldn't cheat again, didn't you?
Nancy!
Amy, what the hell is going on here?
Aw,
All right, enough of this. Hey, you two, get dressed and meet us in the living room.
The two of them, trembling, nodded at my father's command. After a short while, they entered the living room where we were waiting, surrounded by the group's senior members and enforcers. The intimidation in the room was palpable, and both of them sat down on the floor, heads bowed, trembling as they kneeled.
Now then, it seems like you two can't stay away from each other, can you? What do you think, Nancy? John? Since they can't stay apart, why don't we just tie them together for good?
Yeah, no matter how many promises they make, it's clear they'll just do this again. I think it's better if we separate.
I agree.
What?
No, please. I don't want to lose a finger.
No need for that. Instead, sign this divorce paper. Right now.
My father placed the divorce papers in front of them.
Just a divorce? I don't have to lose a finger.
That's right. I'm not a monster. You can even keep this apartment for yourselves. Do whatever you want with it. But once you sign those divorce papers, you'll also be signing this marriage license.
You want me to marry Jason?
That's right. If you two want to stay together even after betraying your families, then being husband and wife is the most fitting outcome, don't you think?
Relieved there would be no further consequences, the two of them eagerly signed both the divorce and marriage papers.
All right, from today, you're husband and wife. John, make sure you get all your stuff out of here.
You got it.
John, thank you.
John shot Amy a cold, piercing look but said nothing.
Nancy, thank you. Please, take care of the kids.
Just make sure you never show your face around them again. If you do, I'll make sure you pay for it with your life. Though they seemed happy for the moment, their nightmare was only beginning the very next day. When Jason showed up at work, he found a notice of termination on his desk. Panicking, he actually called me.
Nancy, what's going on? I went into work today, and they fired me.
And why are you calling me about that?
Oh, yeah, but I just don't know what to do.
Why don't you ask your boss?
I did, but even he didn't know what was going on.
Well, I guess I should tell you then. The company you worked for? My father's the owner.
What? That can't be. Your father's a gangster.
Just because he's a gangster doesn't mean he only runs underground businesses. A gangster does whatever makes money. I didn't even realize he owned your company, but it turns out that's how things are.
But why did they fire me?
Isn't it obvious? You betrayed me not once, but twice. And now we're divorced. Getting fired is just a natural consequence, don't you think?
But I just got this job. Can't you ask them to take me back?
Ask them? Why would I do that?
To reverse the firing. Please.
Why should I? You're a stranger to me now. Why would I help you?
Don't say that. I've worked hard all this time.
I don't care. Despite his desperate pleas, I had no intention of helping him. At that moment, a man's voice shouting and banging on the door came through the phone.
Pay back the money you owe!
It was clearly the voice of a debt collector.
What the hell?
Oh, so you have debts, huh?
No, that's not.
But that voice sounds like a gangster's, doesn't it?
A gangster? No way. Well, I did borrow some money, but
So you did borrow money. Why did you borrow it?
it costs money to have fun with a woman, doesn't it?
Like those trips to Hawaii, and more trips to Hawaii, and even more trips to Hawaii. Oh, and there's also the cancellation fee for the wedding venue, right? Did you borrow money to pay for that too?
That was all Amy's doing.
Well, in any case, you two are married. So, you'll have to pay it off together.
I borrowed from a consumer finance company because I needed money fast. But why are they coming to collect so soon?
That's simple. The Harris gang bought your debt.
Why would the Harris gang?
The Harris gang has a loan division. They buy up consumer debt and collect it with high interest. They don't usually do this, but it looks like they did this time. Harris Finance is a loan shark. You're in for some trouble. Haha.
No way!
That's what happens when you underestimate the Harris gang.
The Harris gang. That's your father's gang.
That's right.
Please, do something.
No way. You should be glad they didn't ask you to settle the score. If they had, your body would be fish food by now.
You can't be serious.
The collection is strict, and the interest is high, so you better pay up quickly.
Please help me. You could help me, right?
I already told you, I won't help. This is just the beginning. Haha.
But I've been fired, and I've lost my income.
You and your wife can work to earn it together. Anyway, I'm busy, so I'm hanging up. Good luck. Even though I heard him say help me from the other side of the phone, I hung up, laughing, because I wanted him to suffer more. Later, Jason managed to find a job, but the pay was so meager that after paying off his debts, he barely had any pocket money left. So, he asked Amy to work too, but apparently, her job involved driving around in a car. Seeing the car moving around every day, some of the gang members ended up smashing it. Jason, thinking it was the gang again, contacted me once more.
The car's been smashed up. How am I supposed to work if it's like this?
Why are you telling me? Oh, my brother knows all about things like that. He's been living there from the start. Let me put him on the phone.
No! Stop! John's a gangster.
Oh yeah, the gangster. Nice to hear from you.
John!
So, what's up?
My car! It's been smashed up.
And?
I was wondering who did it.
You're not suggesting it was someone from Harris, are you?
No, I wasn't.
We're a proper gang. We don't touch civilians. That area is known for being rough. Some punks probably did it for fun. Tough luck, huh?
Yeah, I guess so.
By the way, I'll be coming by tonight, so don't go anywhere.
Tonight? Why?
I'm collecting the rent for that place.
Rent?
Yeah. Just because we gave you the place doesn't mean you live there for free. As long as you're living there, Rent's due.
How much?
$3,000. I'll be by every month to collect, so make sure you have it ready.
I don't have that kind of money. If you'd told me earlier.
No money? That's not gonna fly. If you don't pay, you'll just get hurt. If I don't come by, you better be prepared for what happens.
I understand.
Jason, his voice heavy with despair, hung up the phone and collapsed onto the floor. As it was said, John arrived at the apartment with his father and about 20 other gang members. Jason and Amy, who had somehow managed to gather the $3,000, were waiting, but it was clear the situation was far from over.
All right, I've received the rent, but when will you be paying off your debt?
That. A little bit each month.
I see. Good intentions, but the interest will just keep piling up.
With that, the father removed his shoes and entered the room.
Well.
Hey, you all come in too.
What's going on here?
This room has been a hangout for our members ever since the young boss lived here alone. You need a place to drink, after all.
But I've paid the rent, so this is my room now.
Hold on, are you telling me what to do? I'm the landlord. Depending on how you act, I might raise the rent, you know.
That may be true, but...
People help each other out. If we can all have fun together, that's what matters. Amy, bring out the food. We've got plenty of beer and liquor.
Get Jason out of here!
They're gangsters. There's no way I can get them to leave.
But...
Come on, Amy, come over here and drink. You're the only woman here. Isn't it your job to pour drinks for us? You like men, don't you?
As the alcohol flowed, the gang members' voices grew louder, and complaints started coming from the neighbors.
Sorry, but the neighbors are asking us to be quiet. Please, just go home.
What are you talking about? This is just the beginning. The night is still young. We need to enjoy ourselves to the fullest.
Please, just leave. I'm begging you to go.
Shut up. You disrespected my son and daughter. This is nothing compared to that. Your debt payments are just a drop in the bucket. Pay up in full and maybe I'll let you off.
I understand. I'll pay. I'll find a way, even if I have to borrow more.
Oh, good. That's the spirit.
The father and John smirked and cast scornful glances at the two of them. Later, not even asking how much they owed, the two were hit with a $5 million bill each. With no way to pay such an amount, they had no choice but to borrow from a high-interest loan shark. As expected, the interest rates were outrageous, and their debt grew exponentially. Unable to manage the situation, they considered fleeing, but they were soon caught. Tempted by high-paying illegal jobs, they continued to get deeper into trouble. Even after paying off their debt, they couldn't escape the cycle of crime. Their driver's licenses were held, and they were threatened with harm to their families if they tried to flee. In the end, they repeatedly broke the law. However, the police were not fooled. The day came when they were finally caught. A small mistake led to their trial, but the organization abandoned them. Though they faced a long prison sentence, They were relieved to be free from the gang, though this was far from a sweet deal. Now, while they claim they will be free when they get out, it's likely that black-clad figures will be waiting for them. They will learn firsthand the depths of the underworld's darkness. Meanwhile, I continue to live a quiet life as an office worker, not revealing my connection to the gang family. How did you like this story? Please remember to subscribe to the channel. See you in the next video.